All right, dog lovers and crypto enthusiasts, we've got something special for you today. You know, we all want the best for our furry little friends, right? Well, imagine combining that passion of dogs and cutting edge blockchain technology. Sounds wild, but it's happening. Today on Dad's Gone Crypto, we're joined by Dave Carr from DogLibre, a project dedicated to improving welfare globally through blockchain, NFTs, and memes. Dave and his team are turning the love for dogs into a movement, and we can't wait to dive in. Welcome, Dave, to Dad's Gone Crypto.
Thank you very much for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, awesome. We're really happy to have you too, Dave. Can you tell us a little bit about your backstory and how you got in with DogLibre and what made you get into crypto in the first place? A little bit about yourself.
Yeah. The founder, Lu, is an old colleague of mine from Decentraland. So my journey with Web3 started at Decentraland about 5 years ago. Joined the team there in the marketing department, and we all chipped in and helped launch it in February of 2020. There's another quite prominent member on the Stray Savior squad, Sam Hamilton. He was a creative director at Decentraland. So that's the loose background. When DogLibre kicked off, we kind of reached out to one another, or Leland reached out to us and to get us involved to help out in various ways. But for me personally, I've always been interested in new technology. Crypto was one of those things that popped up, and it was just like, what is this all about? You know, the blockchain, and I just dived in and got very quickly obsessed with it. So after Decentraland, I've worked for virtual real estate marketplace called Parcel, which was based out of the US. I have been an advisor and worked for an augmented reality platform called Over, and generally consulting to different, I suppose, metaverse flavored projects. Neolife is another one, which is a virtual gaming platform currently in development. And yeah, just generally, moving in and around Web3 circles, also talking to brands that are looking to move into the space, having a background in advertising and content and publishing and those kinds of things. Get a lot of questions about what this whole new space is all about. So it's nice to be able to try to onboard some people as well.
Absolutely.
So, Dave, let's jump into DogLibre. The project combines the love of memes and a man's best friend. What sparked the idea for DogLibre, and what is the mission driving this whole project forward?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, the founder, Lee Lin, she's the driving force behind this project. And she has her entire life has all been around rescuing dogs. She says that her parents were taking in strays even before she was born. So that impact has just stayed with her over the years. And I think, you know, as she's gotten older and worked with organizations and done her bit, she's seen, you know, the ins and outs and the inadequacies of dog care, and I guess also some of the pitfalls and the challenges that kind of happen in the space. So it was actually, as I mentioned before, Decentraland, where we all a few of us met. That really gave, I think, all of us, but particularly Leland, a grounding in the power of community, particularly centered around, you know, decentralization and blockchain and empowering people to come together and, you know, through organizations like a DAO and just that collaboration that occurs in this space. She could see that, okay, there's a way for gathering a community together, and also a community of people who love dogs, and that seems to be a very large community. To bring them together to fulfill and work within her passion. She could see that there was like four kind of main factors that were a challenge in this space. You know, lack of awareness and education, lack of trust, inconsistent funding for a lot of the projects that were going on, and insufficient community involvement. There's quite a bit of crossover in those points with what's happening in Web3. You know, we can all do with more awareness and education, more trust, and more community involvement. So those synergies were there, and so she leapt on that. And, you know, when it came time for DogLibre to take off, this year's obviously been a big year for meme coins, and so it just made sense to launch the project and to get it going.
Excellent. So, but from what I understand, DogLibre, it isn't just like another meme coin. It has a purpose behind the memes, right? What makes DogLibre different from the other dog coins out there like Doge or Shiba or all these other memes?
Yeah, I think the real world utility, I think, is the big one. We're not in this for a pump and dump type effect. We're obviously very keen to build community. We're keen for the token to increase in price, because it allows us to have the funds to be able to participate and help those projects in the real world around the world that are working to benefit strays and dog care generally. So we see this as a long-term play. Our team is fully doxed. Or undoxed. I can never remember which one it is, but
Me
exactly.
too.
Yeah, you're doxed. We know who you are, so you're doxed.
Great. It sounds much more brutal, doesn't it, that word? But anyway. So the team is well known. We've put their experience, completely out on the table. You know who they are. So they bring a lot of great advice, great experience in various projects, really, prominent projects and successful projects. And so, what we are looking to do is for this to really be a game changer, a community-led initiative, global initiative that will really help to not so much revolutionize, but innovate and use the technology, blockchain technology, to advance and push forward dog care, so that we're not, grappling with those 4 points that I mentioned before: lack of awareness and education, insufficient community involvement, that kind of thing. We're hoping to leverage the power that exists in Web3 and push that into the real world, and it'll go from everything from funding to partnerships, into technological solutions that allow us to track in a better way how dogs are being looked after, and how the space is improving generally.
Wow, excellent.
So, Dave, you guys are obviously tackling a serious issue. You're rescuing dogs, improving the welfare, using technologies to kind of, solve certain problems. Could you just explain to the audience, how is DogLibre planning to support real world dog care using that blockchain? You alluded to a couple of ideas, but can you give us a bit more in-depth understanding of how you guys plan to do that?
Yeah, so I mean, first and foremost, with the blockchain and with having a token, we have a plan to set up a DAO, which will allow us to involve more of the community, and of course, people in investing in the token means that we've got more funding to apply to these various organizations that we hope to partner with. We've already made several inroads with organizations around the world in terms of highlighting what they're doing, working on ways in which we can provide more funding. But also, to give you a specific example, it's in the pipeline. From a technological perspective, we're looking at an AI-driven app that can monitor and analyze behavior, diet, overall well-being of dogs. And then through the blockchain, all the data collected is obviously secure and verifiable. And that ensures that pet owners and vets, let's say, are going to have access to reliable and pretty comprehensive information. So that's that direct link between the real world initiatives that are going on and how we're using the blockchain technology and AI and Internet of Things and the technology that is really accelerating at pace at the moment to benefit dogs in the real world. And then, of course, we have other initiatives on the more kind of fun side for the community side of things, but also directly tied into dog care and awareness in this space. Things like virtual worlds or metaverse style experience, so that dog lovers can interact with digital versions of their pets, or get education and raise awareness through these types of initiatives. So there'll be lots of little things that we're looking at, including also games as well, to spread the word and get the word out to more and more members of the community who haven't previously felt that they had a way to, go through traditional channels of volunteering or funding and that sort of thing. This gives people a chance to be quite active in the space without having to maybe turn up in person to a shelter, but they know they can see, based on the data that we're collecting and the methods that we're using, they can actually see tangible results in the real world based on our efforts.
Oh, so you mentioned some fun things going on there, and part of that I think is the dog NFTs you have going on. So gamified stray dogs that earn rewards. I got to know more about that. How does that work, and what makes those NFTs special in the space compared to other NFTs?
Yeah, again, it's down to utility. It's about creating these digital assets that again, the sales of NFTs will go into funding. So you're buying, stray PFPs or the typical NFT style assets, but at the back end, that is enabling us to create a community of those digital stray owners. But then also gamify that, and again, it comes back to education and awareness. Just that interaction between the digital side of things and the real world side of things. So linking the NFTs up to, you only have to look at projects like, I suppose, the Bored Apes, which have gone on to create real world get-togethers or events which bring the community together. It's allowed them to create a virtual ecosystem where community members, wherever they are in the world, can come together. So this has that ability, but it also has that underlying bonus of, we're here for a common cause. We can gather together. We can launch initiatives through these spaces, and then filter that out across to the different partnerships and collaborations that we've got going on.
Very cool. Very cool.
Dave, I've got a two-part question. One follows on from what you just mentioned. Okay, so I'm a crypto dad or a crypto mom out there, and I buy a NFT or I buy tokens, and I've got it now, right? So from what I heard you say, that you guys are looking to create an app that teaches people certain things about their pets. It checks out if my pet is okay, if it's being looked after properly, if it's getting the right nutrients, blah blah blah. Okay, so is this just a funding model where you take my money, you build an app, you charge them, and then I never see the money again? I'm just being facetious here. How does it come back into the model? Bored Apes, they had a particular desire to own that NFT. There was the exclusivity. They got you into projects that you can invest in, so you got return on investment. So how's your model going to work from people wanting to? Yes, I understand community 100%, but you don't need to buy a token to create community. You don't need to create an app to create a community. So how does your model differ from the traditional stuff?
Well, I guess, in terms of the investment in the token or purchasing the NFT, that in the long run, or even in the short run, will allow you to have a say in how how this organization or how this initiative operates. We are all assuming that the dog lovers, and those who are passionate about helping out in this space will get involved. You mentioned, the difference between communities. I suppose the community, having worked on DAOs and having had experience with DAOs in terms of let's say Decentraland and other projects, there is I guess a core group of people who will get involved in day-to-day decisions. But they're not, let's say, they are not essential to almost every aspect of the progress or the outcomes in that virtual world. They're kind of advising on specific things that are put up for vote. In this situation, the community will be central to the fortunes of the project, and also what goes on in the real world. Our assumption is that anybody getting involved in this, obviously there'll be people who want to come in because of the perceived fortunes of the token, but we are appealing to people who are, passionate about dog care and a better life for strays around the world, and so that involvement in DogLibre will enable them to have a direct say on how we push our initiative and how we work with partners and who we approach as partners as well. So it will be, we are planning for this to be a much more active organization. So I think for me, DogLibre is yes, okay. There are hallmarks of the Bored Ape style NFT community and token holders, but it's very much more about, this is decentralized governance and individual activities and involvement as it should be, I think. So, I think what we're looking at here is much greater involvement from people who buy the token. It's not just, as I mentioned at the top of this episode, it's not just a pump and dump type situation. We're looking for the community and individuals to be able to get involved in various different ways, not just through, if you want to be involved passively through games or through a virtual world type experience, that's absolutely fine. If you want to get more involved in terms of having a say as the kinds of partners that we deal with, or coming up with ideas in ways in which we can keep working on improving dog care, looking at different areas that we can move into. It's all up for grabs. So yeah, it's a much more, I think, active community that we're seeking to build.
That's very cool. So the token itself will be a governance token then, where you'll actually, if you're holding the token, be able to vote on these different initiatives. Is that will that carry into the NFTs as well, like NFT ownership? Also gives you some sort of governance, or?
Yeah, I think NFT will by virtue of the fact that you are holding in terms of virtual worlds, governance really comes down to owning the token or holding land. In this case, it'll be, assets that you hold will give you certain rights within the community. That the breakdown of the DAO and how that works is actually still being formulated. We're keen to obviously ensure that we learn from difficulties of other DAOs. Making sure that certain votes aren't unfairly weighted because you happen to hold a hell of a lot of tokens or a significant number of assets. So yeah, we're trying to make sure that when we say that if you're a community member of any size or holding, that you have a say, that you feel a part of this initiative, because there's no point us reaching out to dog lovers and offering them a chance to make a difference if they have no chance to make a difference.
Right. Oh, very cool. So speaking of the token then, can you give us a breakdown where we can find more information, or, basically just some information on what the token holds in store for the launch?
Yeah, so the token is currently in pre-sale. And 8% of the total supply is available during this pre-sale period. We've gone through a number of stages so far, and those stages are continuing. We get asked a lot from the community, when's it going to launch? But I think this is, again, a hallmark of this project. We're not going to rush to launch to have the TGE. We're going to use this time to build awareness, build a community, get our marketing sorted out. We haven't just pumped a load of money into KOLs in order to push. We're really looking to get this right and make it as fair as possible. The best place for people to go to get more information about tokenomics, which includes the different phases and then the percentage breakdowns. Website's the best place for that, and the white paper. There's a chapter on tokenomics, on the vesting schedule, the distribution, and the staking rewards. That's all in there. And then, of course, we're on Telegram. So we invite you to reach out and ask any specific questions you have. There's people on there pretty much 24/7 answering questions.
Very good. Very transparent. Love that.
And Dave, let's talk about partnerships. Could you give us some examples of some of the people you guys have partnered up with, some of the big players, and what strategic partnerships are you looking for from people that may be listening?
Yeah, in terms of partnerships, real world partnerships, we're talking to, and the focus lately has been on Asia. We've been at WebEx Asia, and we're at Token 2049, going to DevCon or MemeCon. I think it's in Bangkok afterwards. So the focus has been very much on Asia, and of course, Lee Lin and several of the core Stray Savior Squad are based out in Asia, Malaysia, Singapore area, and beyond. So there've been a lot of partnership discussions and collaborations with some of the major charities and organizations out that way, but we're also talking to the more recognized charities and shelters. In terms of marketing partnerships, very early days at this point, but we're obviously looking to move into all aspects of pet care, specifically dog care, but anything that you can kind of think of in terms of partnerships in that area. So, there's nothing that's not on the table when it comes to like food, when it comes to accessories, which is obviously a massive market. And I mentioned earlier in the chat this AI powered data capture, which we're looking to capture through collars or wearables for pets. So a lot of discussions going on at this time, and yeah, we can make some more concrete announcements as they come through.
Awesome. So, Dave, from a noob coming into crypto, explain to them like they're a dog lover. They just want to get involved. They want to get their stickers. They want to get the NFTs. They just want to be a part of the community. What is their next step to, and who do they reach out to kind of get involved? Or if they've got a great idea they can pitch to you guys, how do they get hold of you guys?
Yeah, we're on Telegram. We're also on Discord. Telegram's a great place to reach out to us. There's people on there, who are around to answer questions, put people in touch with the right member of the team, and generally, if you're looking to get involved in the token, that's a great place to start. Ask any questions that you have, rather than getting lost or getting confused with, for a noob, it can be difficult with the whole process of wallets and funding wallets and that kind of thing. So we can obviously help with explaining exactly how that works, what you'll need, the staking process, that kind of stuff. So Telegram's a great place to go, and the official, and there've been a lot of unofficial ones popping up, but it's at DogLibre, so capital D, capital L. That's our official Telegram link, and we've got 7,500 members who are in the channel. So yeah, there's admins who will pop up and answer any questions, and yeah, don't hesitate to reach out.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll put that link in the description here, along with your other links to your website and white paper and whatnot, so everybody can get in there and take a peek and hopefully join the conversation over there and in your Telegram group. A minute ago, we were talking about, you were planning to set up some real life dog care centers. How does the Web3 platform, how does that translate into the real world impact of that? Like, how are you going to take DogLibre on the web and turn that into real life dog care centers?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, the token is designed to raise funds to allow us to either develop our own initiatives and link them to the real world activities, or to partner up and to fund, improve funding, which is one of those key points that's an issue right now. There's also the blockchain and the ability to capture data and to store data and to access it and verify it. For us to dig into initiatives like rescue operations or localized dog care, research and things like that. It's just being able to have things verifiable and to I suppose the beauty of the blockchain to have that open ledger, so that we know exactly, or are able to track exactly where funding goes, are able to store data, capture data, and then translate whatever we're doing in the digital world into the real world, I think, and vice versa, I think is really valuable. And then, of course, the fact that it's decentralized, and anybody who is invested in this project, for them to be able to put their hand up at any time, and to have a voice and to be heard, and to have those ideas potentially affect an existing initiative or to create an entirely new one. I think that's really valuable. And as I said earlier, people, they drop funding to a local shelter or something, or maybe they help out sometimes volunteering. This is designed to continue those efforts, but we feel in a more targeted way. And of course, having all of that data captured in whatever initiative we're doing means that we can, you have an overview of a huge ecosystem of different efforts in this space. So it's really unearthing a lot of these things, to the fore, and allowing people to have a greater view on them.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing.
Deb, I think any business needs to start off small. You need to get your ducks in a row. You need to get your organizational structure. You need to have a piloted project. You need to have test cases. But what does your vision for the project look like to scale this to a global phenomenon? So obviously it has to start somewhere, and I'm assuming probably Asia. But how do you take that concept, or what is your plans to take that concept internationally? And also, especially with, you can also maybe just tell us about the expansion of the NFTs and the play to earn gaming side of things.
Yeah, right now it's awareness and education, building up our community. It's about getting funding, and that's through token, that's through NFT sales. Then it's about creating that place where our community, our online community, can come together and talk about these things and learn about things. All the while, we are going out and talking about what we intend doing to these various organizations. And as I mentioned, that's already started, and our founder Li Lin has a long history of working with organizations. So, she's done her homework, she's spoken to people, and has had a really good response, a really positive response to this idea. And given that funding and given that lack of awareness and education are key sticking points, then of course any help is gratefully received. But we're not just looking to push money in and walk away. It's about being actively involved, and that's where the community comes in, and having that flow back and forth between our Web3 decentralized community and the space, the real world space itself. So yeah, I mean, from to take a specific example, from an NFT sale that would then develop into metaverse games or virtual experiences that would then translate into physical wearables. That would then obviously move into more sophisticated initiatives. So you've seen projects like Steppen, you've seen other projects like Sweatcoin, which is quite a popular app, which is the whole step to earn, walk to earn. What do people do when they go for a walk? They often take their dogs with them. So we see it's a real no-brainer to bring in that element of gamification and tie it into this initiative as well. And really, if you see our roadmap online, we've got to spread it over the next 2 to 3 years. It's going to be changing, obviously, as all projects do. But ultimately, we are looking to just keep chipping away at this space, bring on more and more partners. And we think ultimately, long term, DogLibre could be the kind of organization that gives its stamp of approval to dog care initiatives. But it's not just a centralized body that is giving its stamp of approval based on, I don't know, whatever reason. It's a decentralized community, a large decentralized community that has made it very clear about what their intentions are, that are not necessarily swayed by any particular affiliations with any organizations. It is a group of people that have come together because they have this passion at heart. And so that we feel like that decentralized stamp of approval is not only really crucial for DogLibre, but it's kind of a pioneering step in terms of how initiatives are endorsed generally. And so we think, long term, we look at this as a global movement, and but it takes time. It takes us to tick off the small steps and build as we go.
And now to the technical side of things. DogLibre is launching on Ethereum, but you're also integrating other blockchains like Polygon and Solana. Why go multi-chain, and how will it benefit your users?
Multi-chain, because we just want to keep it as open as possible to as many people as possible. Appreciate that, Ethereum, people look at that as in terms of the whole gas fees issue, but it's a premier blockchain, and so that is first and foremost the one we've launched on. I think you're starting to see with the various chains, particularly with the likes of Solana, a very strong community following, and we're a meme coin ultimately, and so it's in our best interests to align with chains that also have strong meme communities. So obviously, Ethereum is one that is coming up and probably stealing a bit of thunder from Solana, and others will no doubt also arrive on the scene too. So it's like any Web3 project. If we can make it multi-chain, we can increase the number of people who can get access to us, and so that's really the approach there.
Oh, fantastic. So Dave, what's your long-term vision for DogLibre then? Let's say 5 years from now. Where do you see the project, and how big of an impact do you think it will have made by then?
I think next 5 to 10 years, I would say DogLibre is a global leader at that intersection of pet care and technology. We are really driving this to innovate social good, I guess, in the dog care industry. Does it become a model for how other groups work with charitable or care organizations? I'm not sure. But we're full steam ahead on using blockchain, AI, Internet of Things, crypto economics, all that kind of stuff to build this sustainable ecosystem, and not only benefits the stakeholders but also benefits our partners and of course the dogs that we're looking after. So, as I mentioned earlier, ultimately we would like this to be DogLibre to be a gold standard for this type of initiative, but also be viewed as I don't know what's the word, like an arbiter of this is a legitimate organization that is dedicated to the care of dogs, and it's backed by DogLibre or this product or this service in this space. I think you could probably name half a dozen or more products that have a legitimate backing, and I think that carries a lot of volume or carries a lot of weight for people when they're looking at making a selection, or they want to be ethical about the types of organizations that they're involved in, the types of products that they purchase, that kind of thing. And so I think in that respect, we aim to be a leader there as well. But ultimately, we're going global with DogLibre. We're going global with the care of dogs, and that's where, next 5 to 10 years, I see us being.
That's fantastic.
Dave, last one from me. You mentioned that there's a sale on right now. Can you just run us through quickly what are the steps involved into purchasing? What do I need to do from a step-by-step approach to get some DogLibre tokens? If the audience wants to, but remember, this is not financial advice, everybody. Do your own research. And if you are a dog lover, definitely visit the website to find out more before obviously moving forward and purchasing tokens.
Yeah, for sure. So, if the website is the home, and you will see when you get to the web page that we've got a timer which counts down until the next price rise. So the pre-sale started at several zeros and then 50. We're now at 66. So you can attach your wallet or buy with BNB. And you buy with Ethereum. You can also purchase with USDT or with card, and it's really just a matter of connecting and purchasing. Any questions that you have, as I mentioned earlier, come through to the Telegram chat, and there will be somebody who can talk you through that. We've also got some FAQs on the site. We've also got pointers on what to do if you don't have a wallet. So yeah, we think it's pretty straightforward and haven't had really too many issues with people trying to get access to it.
Very cool. So did I hear you right? Did you say you could purchase it with a card, as in like a credit card or debit card?
Yeah, it's through USD, but yeah, card, Ethereum, or USDT if you have that. Those are the three payment options at the moment. If you've got, one of the usual wallets like a MetaMask, you can attach your MetaMask wallet, and if you've got funds in there, you can obviously pay using that. But yeah, we've tried to make it as accessible as possible.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Right.
DogLibre.com. That is your place to go. And as I mentioned, there's loads of information on there. But please feel free to come through to Telegram and reach out to one of the team. They will answer any questions you've got. And like you guys say, we want people to be comfortable and feel secure in making purchases if they decide to do so. So yeah, it ultimately, as I say, we're not a pump and dump. We're here for the long term, and we want people to come in, feel comfortable, and feel like they have a place in the community, and start doing some good.
That's great. The project seems really awesome. And, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us here today and introduce DogLibre to our audience. I think we've got a lot of people that are going to be really excited about it.
Yeah, my pleasure. I think I answered all the questions. It's a big project, and there's a lot to cover. But yeah, thanks for having me, and I just urge everyone to dive in and find out what we're about. And if it looks like your kind of thing, you're very welcome.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Dave. Take care, and we'll chat soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Really nice to meet you. Take care.
Bye.
The material and information presented in this recording are for entertainment purposes only. Do not misconstrue what you hear as investment or trading advice. Always do your own research. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by the guests on this recording are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Dad's Gone Crypto or its hosts.